Welcome to Sun City News. I'm your host, Norma Taylor, and here are some of the stories we're featuring for this week's show. Georgia Lash gets a Beaufort County update. Jojo Hine talks about the GFWC's Strikeout Cancer event. And later in the program, we get information on Hardyville's first Friday meeting. Sun City News starts now.
This is Sun City News. With our news team bringing you stories from Sun City and the Low Country. Taking the lead with entertainment news. And on deck is our sports report. Sun City News, from people you know, about people you know. This week's SCTV News starts now.
There's some good news for us from Beaufort County Council as they finalize the 2026 budget. Listen as Council Vice Chair Tab Tabernick updated SCTV.
Tab, thank you for fitting us into your very, very complex schedule, but we really like to hear a Beaufort County update for our Sun City residents. And so I've been scanning a little bit of what's going on, and one of the things I wish you would touch on is the tax situation, the budget that's coming up for 2026.
Okay, I can do that. We are coming up to our third reading on Monday. You have to do 3 readings of the ordinance, and then the fiscal 26 budget will be set. We are very happy to announce there'll be no millage increase. That's what every resident wants to know. Are my taxes going to go up? This council does not want to increase millage on the residents, and one reason this is happening, and I'm going to be perfectly transparent, the value of a mill last year was $2.7 million. The value of a mill this year is $2.9 million, property costs and so on. So it does give us a bump in the money available without taxing the residents any further. So that money will be put to good use. Besides paying employees, we're giving a cost of living raise. Benefits continue to rise, We have projects for capital improvements like boat ramps, piers, the detention center. We're rebuilding some buildings. So we have capital projects, we have maintenance projects. We right now are renovating the administration building. So we have a lot of money invested in there, and we are not raising taxes. So that's good news to the taxpayer, and then they can watch how we spend it prudently. We're trying to be the best stewards of your money. And that's what I believe we're doing. And we put out a press release about it, and I hope everybody reads that. But certainly if people have questions, we're happy to answer anything. They can watch the previous 2 council meetings where we discussed where the money is going to go, because in fact, it's all in the packet. It's hundreds of pages. You could see every department. What I want to say in this budget is a couple of major things we did. First of all, we are working with the sheriff, and we have given him a bump in his budget so that he can increase the initial pay for incoming deputy sheriffs to almost $60,000. Right now it's like 52, 53, and we cannot attract deputies. The municipalities pay more than we do. SLED pays more. South Carolina troopers pay more. So the sheriff made a case, and we bumped his budget up. That's one. The second budget we increased substantially was the solicitor. Last year, that's Stuffy Stone. Last year he got a 5% increase, and prior to that, for 5 years prior to that, no increase. Yet they try more cases, and they have to try them. That's what a solicitor does. And working with more families, they have a great family justice center, so we gave him a big bump. That also gives a bump to the public defender, because not every person that goes to court can afford an attorney, so we have a public defender. And the third major thing we did was we approved a fourth unit for EMTs. In other words, instead of working 24 on, 48 off, it'll be 24 on, 72 off. That's for their mental health, their physical health. EMTs run all day. As you know, you see them running in Sun City. And so we have done the 4th shift, it's called. So that increases the number of EMTs we can hire, and of course supervisory people and that kind of stuff. So those are 3 major bumps in the budget that will be, if you look at it, that's all public safety. The sheriff, the solicitor, and the EMTs. That is a service to our residents, and so we're very happy we did that.
Jojo Hines checked out the GFWC's Strikeout Cancer event. Let's watch.
We are here at Station 300 to strike out cancer. This is a GFWC Ladies Club of the Low Country special event. Let's talk to Sharon Quinter about what it's all about. Okay, Sharon, can you tell us the details, please?
This is our Strikeout Cancer event, which is huge. We have bowlers, we have donations, 50-50s, as well as some beautiful baskets. And what are we doing? We're striking out cancer, all kind of cancer. It'll be donated to both Beaufort Memorial as well as St. Joe Candler. It's going to help local patients in our area who really suffer to either support their families while they're out of work, to buy groceries, gas, or just help with medical expenses. We want to thank everyone who made donations as well as showed up here today. It's a great time.
Hi, well, we are very happy to be doing a Strikeout Cancer fundraiser here at Station 13. As I walk up and down, everyone is smiling, but the reason we're doing it is because cancer is a terrible thing to have to go through, and barring your insurance, there's so many other expenses. There's gas, there's food, there's everything you need to go to radiation therapy. So our fundraiser is going to help so many people in this community, with just the little things. Some gas for their car, a hot meal when they come home because they're too tired to cook. We have two wonderful women from Beaufort Memorial and one from St. Joseph Candler who are going to distribute gift cards to the needy, and we are doing a great job here raising money. I hope that we raise a lot.
Still more to come. Georgia Lash attended the Juneteenth celebration here in Sun City. We have tips on being gator wise, and our SCTV crew checked out the Meet the Author event. So stay with us. We'll return after this brief break.
And we have 4 different events this year for our June events. Kathy, you want to share with us?
Yeah, so we have a Cinco de Mayo, and that is the Village Green neighborhood.
Then we have an Ocho de Mayo.
Right, and that's a Whispering Oaks neighborhood.
And you guys figure out why you think one's Cinco and one's Ocho. I bet you can figure it out.
And after that, we have 2 events at Riverbend. And one is an ice cream social, and that was Stratford Village.
Oh, great. Southside.
And then tell about the...
Oh, my gosh. Then we have a whole new neighborhood, Coffee Run, which is Sun City West. And so you get to have an introduction and tell this new...
Find out the new neighbors. Yeah.
So I hope you guys watch.
All right. Stay tuned.
SCTV met with Book Club 5 as they shared the meaning and observation of their annual Juneteenth holiday.
Dr. Fox, Juneteenth since 2021 has been recognized as a federal holiday. Your book club, Chapter 5, has been celebrating this holiday much before that. Tell us the interpretation your club has of the importance that we commemorate this day.
Well, Juneteenth, Freedom Day, of course, the history starts back in Texas. But right now, we're celebrating today because of where we are in our community. It's a diverse community at Sun City. But what's going on in the world brings us to a place where we have to commemorate, celebrate, and emphasize where we've come from, the progress we're making, and the things we yet have to do as a group, as a community. I want to tell you a little bit about our mission statement, okay? Mission statement for Book Club Chapter 5. Exploring American history from an African-American perspective through review, analysis, and discussion of films, books, and music. We don't just read books. We do a lot of other things. For example, we've done shows, we've done musicals, we do poetry reads, and we explore the books that talk about missions. What missions would build the community? Understanding one another's cultures. Learning to be friends and learning to work together and to live together. And we do that well here in Sun City. Book Club Chapter 5 is a vehicle for unity.
Now, how will you be commemorating today? What will be happening?
Today, we're going to have a luncheon. We're having a guest speaker. Our guest speaker is Miss Marilyn Harris. She is the president of the Beaufort County Black Chamber of Commerce. We have guest speakers making comments about Juneteenth and exploring more about what has to be done in our community to continue to build unity. She's going to speak on that, not just Juneteenth, but on us being a diverse people working together for unity.
Thank you. Now, we're not going to let you get off camera without thanking you for all you have done for Book Club Chapter 5. You've led this group for many years. Marilyn, thank you for coming to Sun City today. You've got a message to share about Juneteenth.
Thank you for inviting me. And I hope that I leave you with the message that celebrations like Juneteenth really are celebrations of unity. I like to remind people that Juneteenth is all about the Emancipation Proclamation and the news of that reaching the last 250,000 enslaved people in Texas. But also, I think it's a gentle reminder that the Emancipation Proclamation itself is an offspring of the Declaration of Independence, where we're all Americans. And so Juneteenth brings the message of unity. And I think that many of us don't even realize that the Juneteenth flag mirrors the American flag. And that is a reminder that we're all Americans, regardless of how we got here, and that we're unified as a nation, and that we can continue to be unified no matter what.
Now, the role that you serve as CEO, president of the Black Chamber of Commerce for Beaufort County, what is the mission of the Chamber?
The mission of the Chamber is to support aspiring entrepreneurs, to help those existing minority entrepreneurs. The target was for Black entrepreneurs through the set-aside programs that the federal government established about 25 years ago to make sure that there's a balance, not just in the minority community, but also in the rural communities. So we get these loans from Treasury, from SBA, from USDA, and pass those on to others. And then we also do critical home repair through South Carolina State Grant Program, and we provide small dollar emergency loans to people in the community. So we're not just business centered, we're community centered.
Well, thank you. You're celebrating your second anniversary in this position. Congratulations.
The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources announces the release of GatorWise. The GatorWise project is intended to promote realistic public perceptions about alligators and to provide guidance on responsible human behavior to minimize conflict between people and alligators. GatorWise is comprised of members representing the state fish and wildlife agencies of Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas, all states within the range of the American alligator. The introduction of GatorWise is important because information about how humans should behave around alligators is similar across the Southeast. But until now, each state has had to manage their own outreach sites and information, said Morgan Hart, South Carolina DNR alligator biologist. We hope that being able to reference a central place for information will help people and alligators coexist safely. Significant human development is projected to continue in southeastern states in areas of alligator habitat. Alligators are a robust species that can thrive in areas where development occurs, as long as the people in these areas understand how to responsibly coexist with them. As warm weather returns, GatorWise and South Carolina DNR would like to remind people that it's normal to see alligators moving around and basking in our rivers, ponds, and lakes. Alligators are native to South Carolina and are critical to the health and balance of our ecosystems. Be gator wise, admire them from a distance, never feed alligators, and learn more at www.gatorwise.org. Author Laura Elizabeth returns to Sun City's Meet the Author event for the second book in her mystery series. She sat down with reporter Georgia Lash to discuss her latest work.
Welcome back to Sun City, Laura.
Thank you so much.
Now, you were here about a year ago, and you introduced us to your island mysteries with the first book, All Is Now Lost.
Yes.
But today, we get the second book, A Special Kind of Heartache. So we always want to give our readers a head up. What's going to be something they can expect in the new book?
So, some of the same characters in the new book, but a totally different story and a totally different way to solve the crime. And so what we figure out in this book is that the protagonist really needs to be part of the community to solve the mystery.
We're going to talk about that in a little bit because that's very important in this book. Now, with this particular plot, I felt like it, like you said, very different. And I felt that you've given us kind of a roller coaster ride. I was like, oh yeah, I got this figured out. No, we're looping the loop, and it's a whole different story.
Yes,
So,
yes,
now-
I'm glad.
Okay. Now, where was the inspiration for this storyline?
So I wanted a mystery that would keep the reader on the edge of his or her seat. And what I really felt with this one is that I wanted to lay the mystery out so that we got more information about who these characters are. And so the plot line, getting to know the main characters and then the sub-characters were really important to me, and I think the story aligns with that little piece by piece so that we're really, to your point, a twist at the end.
It is, but it was fun and a fun read. And it's always good to not figure it out in the first
Yes.
chapter, so thank you for that. Now, how would you say you'd compare All Is Now Lost to A Special Kind of Heartache?
So in All Is Now Lost, the protagonist arrives on Munjan Island, which we know, because we've talked about it, is, in my world, is Defusky Island, right across the water to this special magical place. So we were introduced to the protagonist in that way, and she arrives there, a recent widow, kind of really trying to figure out who she is at this starting over point of her life. She becomes an entrepreneur in that book. She opens a bookshop and a tea shop and is really beginning to become part of the community. In A Special Kind of Heartache, she's well established in the community. The residents and the tourists understand that this store is really important to bringing life to the island, and so now they trust her to take that step on their behalf to solve this mystery, but she recognizes that she cannot do it alone, and she was very used to doing things alone in the first book, and so to a certain extent she's a middle-aged woman, but we still see her grow.
I think it's interesting because I mentioned this when we talked last time with the first book. The difference I see in how you've written the characters is that they're strong, they are determined, and they are winners. You know, we talk about these books where we, open them up and, there's all this tragedy and you wait till the 19th chapter to find out that it finally works. She's very successful.
She is. She's determined, as you say, and she is going to get there. She's going to get it done.
Well, it's phenomenal to me. Now, what were the victories and challenges of going from step 1 to step 2?
That's a really great question. For me, I wanted to tell this story in a way that you did not have to read book 1 to read book 2. It will make sense if you're just interested in the story of book 2. You don't have to read book 1. So to tell that story, I still had to explain, why is she on this island? Who is she? And how are these main characters related to each other? So for me as an author, I wanted to introduce them or reintroduce them without retelling book 1. So to keep the pacing in a way that felt really good to readers, that was probably the biggest challenge, is making sure that you knew when you closed the book, you felt like you knew Carr and you knew Barb and you knew Trip really well. So, but you knew them from just this book. And if it was familiar to you, then you knew them a little bit more.
Right. Well, thank you so much for sharing. We'll be happy to hear your presentation.
Oh, thank you so much.
Still much more ahead on Sun City News. Randy Selman's here with an entertainment report. Martha Spiso attended Hardyville's first Friday meeting. And we have sports with Georgia Lash sitting in for JoJo Hines. So make sure you come on back.
We don't want to brag, but gotta say the June episode of Extra is special.
And we've got some hot stories like Hilton Head's beach parking and beach replenishment plans.
Now we spotlight our special events like Earth Day and the All About Art Club Spring Show.
And we dive into the story of what makes our Sun City swim team successful.
Cable viewers, please check our program listings on the Sun City website. And most conveniently, you can always catch us on our YouTube station, where we invite you to subscribe for easy viewing.
Randy Selman standing by with entertainment news.
I had the opportunity of sitting down with Ben Wolf, the creator and producer of the Southeastern Summer Theater Institute's new opening show, 9 to 5. Let's hear what he had to say.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Randy. How are you?
I'm fine. It's so nice to see you again.
Welcome back.
Another summer. I'm so excited. 9 to 5. Anything goes. What could be better than that? Okay, so tell us about 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton. You can't get better than that, right? All of these familiar songs. You know, it's based on the movie. Obviously, that's a cult classic that everyone knows and loves. And it's takes that same story that you know and so many of those Dolly Parton songs that you love and can sing all day long. You'll walk out of the theater singing these songs, but it expands upon it. It turns it into a Broadway musical. So, you know, in the movie where you might have had a scene, you might get a song and a tap break here in the middle of 9 to 5, the musical here. And we have the Dolly Parton songs that we know from the movie and from her like catalog, but then to make the story flushed out and as a musical, she's written more songs for this musical. So it's completely written by Dolly Parton and composed, and it's everything you know and love about Dolly, but on a big Broadway scale.
I understand that your set is very complicated and very time consuming.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the files.
Oh, the files. So our scenic designer for this production, Matthew Emoff, who has been our designer for the last 5 seasons, audiences will remember the giant 30-foot turntable stage that rotated in GEWC and some of our other really big scenic achievements and feats that we've done here. This is going to go right alongside those. So all across the stage, when you come, you'll get to see 1,200 filing cabinets just surrounding our amazing cast as they're singing and dancing and telling this really fun story. This particular show, for the first time, we're excited, is led by Jelani Remy, who is, right, without really making any bones about it, he's a big Broadway star. He's been Simba in The Lion King. He was just in Back to the Future as the mayor. He's been in the Temptations musical. So it's one show after the other.
Well, your director is also the choreographer.
Right.
So
right.
what style dancing are you? Do you have tap?
There's a little bit of tap in there. There wasn't even tap in the original Broadway production. They have added that into this. The choreography is so very fun. I was just telling him just yesterday, I was like, I think this is some of my favorite choreography I've ever seen on our stage. It's high energy. It's lots of movements. There's a number where there's like 7 or 8 lifts that they're doing where they're throwing this character all up in the air and tossing her around. It's just really, really high energy, and you kind of don't know where to look at moments because there's so many interesting things happening. It's really fun. This musical, it's going to run June 20th. We open. It's June 20th, 21st, 23rd that weekend, and then the next weekend our Fridays and Saturdays are at 7:30 and our Sundays are at 1 p.m. Tickets are at hhisummermusicals.com, or you can call 866-749-2228.
Reporter Martha Spiso attended Hardyville's first Friday meeting and spoke with Sandra Oliver, the chief building official of the city of Hardyville. Let's listen.
Sandy, we are so excited to have you here at Sun City for our first Friday presentation. And you've got some very exciting things to share with us about building safety. So this year, you have a campaign every year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and this year it
is Game On.
And tell us about Game On.
So Game On is the theme that the International Code Council came up with this year, and it is about raising awareness of the building codes and how important that they are, as well as the building professionals, and just letting people know that we're here to help them. And the key points in that campaign are all about the community and coming together with building safety and the services that we provide.
Wonderful. It also, like you say, encourages public involvement. How can everyday citizens participate in this Game On and with their safety?
Yes, so we have a website at Hardyville that has very many options to choose from as far as safety tips and things like that. And we certainly do encourage the community to go to our website and to look at the various tips that we have, as well as the information about how the community can come ask us questions about permits and about licensing of contractors and of various things, surveys and different types of building permit requirements. So we encourage the community to come out and to ask us questions and to go to our website if they can't find answers on their own.
Wonderful. I know I went on the website. There is a lot of good information with a lot of good handouts. And those handouts are produced by, tell me the international
Yes, our organization that is governed, that governs the code professionals is called the International Code Council. And it is an international code system. It is very detailed in writing the codes and changing codes, and we are somewhat governed by them. And the state adopts those codes periodically. They update them and change them, but the International Code Council is our main organization and association throughout the country.
Yes, well, when I was on there, I saw things for homeowners as well as business owners and schools. And so I would recommend that you go look.
Yes, ma'am, I do too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
We appreciate you having us here, and thank you so much.
Let's head over to Georgia Lash for some sports news. Hello, sports fans. We have so many sports here in Sun City, including golf, tennis, pickleball, and softball. And over the next month or so, Sun City TV will be spotlighting a few of our other sports, sometimes that don't get as much fanfare. Now, we hear a lot about Bocce Club. It's headed up by Roy Powers as president and Linda White as vice president, with over 1,800 people in 49 neighborhoods or group leagues playing in Sun City and counting. Bocce is one of the fun sports that you can play. You can try it with a neighborhood or a group league. There are 3 8-week seasons during the year, fall, winter, and spring. The dues are $4 per year, which does allow you access to all 3 seasons play. You can visit the club webpage to find out all information, rules of play, and also the membership form. Try your hand during summer for practice, or wait to join your neighborhood league, or better yet, start your own. You can, however, play bocce on the courts as they are available to all Sun City residents. To reserve a court, you must go to the Logo building and register through our Chelsea system. There's an unlocked storage box near the picnic table by the court to get your bocce balls out for public use. So get out there and have some rollin' fun. You can't lose. Some late sports news just came across the desk. The volleyball club members and prospective members are invited to a club open house on Saturday, June 21st from 9 to 11 a.m. It will be held at the new River Park volleyball court, which is located behind the pickleball courts on the south side. We'll be covering volleyball later this month. Always remember, you are never too old to try a new sport, so go out there and try one. Georgia Lash for Sun City Sports. Well, that's our news for this week. Thank you for watching. Catch us on cable and on our YouTube station, where we invite you to click like and subscribe. And to see expanded coverage of some of our SCTV stories, tune into our monthly show Extra. And if you have questions and comments, email us at suncitytvhh@gmail.com. But make sure you check in with us next week for all the news that's in your neighborhood. For Sun City News, I'm Norma Taylor.